crashing. It's not a signal issue this time. It's I blame the YouTube app. And I've already restarted the phone, quit all the apps, and it's flaky. I don't get it. So anyway, hopefully it holds up for a bit longer to finish this hike and get to the car. There's some nice shelf fungus from earlier in the month or a couple months ago. Like a turkey tail style fungus there. And we're going down the trail. There's some trail carpet for you guys. Some leaves and dirt and such. So now we're getting into the other shady part of the trail, going downhill. Turn around and head back. There's other branches and such here. Some ferns down here, so I get more shady. Mornings and stuff would be quite moist here. And also during the rains, it would hold the moisture quite well with all the shade. I'm looking for some new stuff I haven't described yet. Ah, nice. Calochortus lily. Haven't seen one of these for a while. Very nice. So they're bulbs in the ground. They're perennials, and it just shoots up every time it's ready to, every year, enough moisture and such. And I actually grew these at a botanical garden I used to work at. I forgot which species it is, but it's a Calochortus of some kind. And if I cruise down a little bit here and turn up, you get a better view of the flower itself, as it's pendulous. Very nice. Calochortus. All right. What else we got here? It's like with any of these hikes, you never know what you're going to see based on time of year, moisture, other conditions. So you always got to keep your eyes open, up and down, all around. Otherwise you miss stuff. That's why it's hard to be into birds and mammals and plants and fungi and astronomy and all that stuff, because if you're getting near dusk, there's still plenty of stuff to see in the daylight, but now the stuff in the sky starts showing up, and you're fighting for attention to see different things. It's always fun. Nice, the maidenhair fern again. There's wood fern again. Nice classic fern shape. That's like a fractal. You actually buy a t-shirt of that fractal, the fern fractal. Fern fractal again. There's some vetch there, legume. What are the goodies are here? There's an actual bunch grass. That's actually a native grass, not a weed. Most native grasses grow in bunches. Most European and other introduced grasses grow in individual stalks, or little tiny bunches, not big old bunches. There's goldback fern again. I love this little guy. And if you do this right, you tap this, you get a spore print of gold spores in that shape of the thing, but it doesn't seem to have any right now. There's a polypody fern. I've been looking for one of those. See, it's very loby looking, and rounded edges, and not distinct leaflets coming off the stipe there. So it's polypody, California polypody fern. So this is another fern gully. All kinds of ferns everywhere here. Goose grass. Yeah, nice stuff. More ferns. More miner's lettuce. That one's turning yellow. Plenty of the green ones down there. Again, it's edible. What else we got here? This is ocean spray. It's another soft leaf. It's like is this ocean spray or hazelnut? Yeah, this is ocean spray. Wait, nope, sorry, misspoke. It's spiny. This is California blackberry. Ocean spray is not spiny, but it looks like that. His leaves are kind of toothed and small, and has this spray of white flowers when it blooms, hence the name ocean spray. So I mischose that one. These long strap leaves are hound's tongue, Cynoglossum grande, and creates these beautiful stalks with these bright blue and kind of whitish yellow flowers. Real distinct, but they're not blooming right now. More goldback ferns. We don't have any of the 5-finger ferns here. They're related to maidenhair fern. There's the vetch flowers. So it looks very much like a lupin because it's a legume. Some rotting logs there, no fungus right now. So yeah, lots of moisture here most of the time. So that's why this area is nice and plant covered, and mostly plants that prefer moisture. That's California mugwort. That's interesting. So theoretically, mugwort can help you fight the irritation of poison oak. I've never tried it, but that's how it's written. Usually I just use like calamine lotion or some kind of antihistamine to block the reaction. But it's been written mugwort can be used for that. It's also a common drugstore candy, the turn of the century, not this century, but last century. So 1890s into the early 1900s. We did a history exhibit in Palo Alto at the museum zoo I used to work at, and we had mugwort candy in the fake recreation of the drugstore because that's what was common back then. You can still buy it to this day. It's very medicinal tasting, but it was popular. There's even a mugwort flavor of mochi cakes. If you get those little daifuku mochis, the red bean filled Japanese desserts, which have rice flour mochi outside, there's a green one that actually says mugwort on it. So apparently it's become a popular flavor in Japan. There's a nice burl, essentially, at the base of this California bay tree. What else we got here? Lots of the same. Nice dappled sunlight coming through here as the sun is going down. You can hear the sound of the freeway, Highway 280. About 300 meters away from me, roughly, maybe a little more. And I didn't do any of these shots yet. I should do this. These are always fun. Nice aerial shots of the trees as you walk underneath them. Okay. Looking for flowers. There should be some good ones now. Here we go. So they're not here right now. They were here not too long ago. These are the leaves of a flower called Indian Warrior, as a Native American Indian, not East Indian. And they're really cool looking. They kind of look like owl's clover I showed you before, but much larger and more pronounced and different color. And they're also not related, from what I remember. I'd have to look that up, but very beautiful flower display when they're blooming. And there's another one called Indian paintbrush, which sometimes people mistake the two, but they're very different. Indian paintbrush is more of a tassel-looking vertical flower structure with yellow and orange and red. Indian Warrior is pretty much red. Flower parts that stick out the sides in little curves, kind of like a lion's claw. If you ever saw Leonidas down in Africa, you can buy them sometimes as display items. I think even some nurseries sell them. So no flowers here, unfortunately. But I'm still looking for Indian paintbrush because sometimes it can be here. Okay, no more Calicortus. Calicortus lily. So I'm not seeing any warrior flowers and no paintbrush flowers. There's some nice shiny evil poison oak. Not as oily as it can be, but you can see it's a bit shiny compared to some of the dull plants around it. More honeysuckle. This one's vertical. So the paired opposite leaves there. Some more Indian warrior. Indian paintbrush is called Castanea, and I think it also changed. I think it became Orthocarpus. Again, it's my hardcore botany days are long behind me, but I try to remember some of it. And again, the nomenclature changes as the taxonomy changes, so I need to go back and research that. But this is all from the cobwebs of my mind of 25 to 30 years ago. So, what else we got here? More Calicortus. Man, this stuff's everywhere now. I never see it here. Now I'm seeing tons of it. So that's good timing. More dissected leaves of the Indian warrior. Looks very fern-like, but it's not a fern. It's a flowering plant, not a primitive vascular plant. More Calicortus. Now it's beautiful there with the light. Beautiful Calicortus. It's got a low battery thing on my phone, so we'll see how long this lasts. Either YouTube will crash again, or I'll lose my power on my phone. So I'll hang out as long as I can here. No paintbrush anywhere. Plenty of blue dicks up there. Oh, I spoke too soon. Indian paintbrush. Look at that beauty. Not a great specimen, but it's still beautiful. So it's a much wimpier plant, grows more vertical. But it's very showy. Here's another really nice one on the hill. Indian paintbrush. This reddish color there, or reddish orange. So yeah, it's up for a while. Indian warrior doesn't last very long. Indian paintbrush does. So I see it all the time. I saw hiking through here a couple months ago. I saw Indian warrior. Oh, wait a minute, I spoke too soon. There's one Indian warrior in the distance there. Sunlight's hitting it. It's that little cluster of curved florets coming up out of the dissected leaves. So that's it. You saw an Indian warrior flower. More Calicortus in the sun. Beautiful. Very nice. More blue dicks. More Calicortus. Man, it's all over the hillside. Crazy. Let's see what's going on down here. I'm going to do this quick because my battery's running low. Let's see. See a few other things down here, maybe even a deer or two. Nice magic hour sunlight on the grass there. Close to magic hour. There's the sun over there, and Highway 280 right there. So all that damn noise you heard for the last hour or so. It's not totally isolated over here, but it is a beautiful place and relaxing. There's golden yarrow right there. You see that golden yarrow? So it's a little more daisy-like or sunflower-like than the other yarrow is. And there's the shrubby part of it. So there's your golden yarrow. Very nice. Monkey flower. It's more of the pitcher sage. Monkey flower on the hillside. Monkey flower here. And what else is here? dead straw growing all over everything, like giant viney thing. That's a monkey flower. That's a California sagebrush. More sagebrush. So I'm going quick here because I got the battery warning, and like I said, either YouTube's going to crash again for the third time, or the battery will die. One or the other. I was hoping to at least get one deer or a little cluster of deer you guys can see. There's some nice wildlife out here. Some nice trail markers here so you know where you're going. And basically the main road out once we get down from these trails is Fire Road. It's essentially a giant trail. You can go 5 or 6 people across or more, meant for the ranger vehicles and stuff to get through here, or emergency vehicles. So hillside is mostly grasses and stuff, not too much to see. Got oak trees on either side. Beautiful color though, look at that. Warm sunlight. Analog sunlight. And then we got some lupins. So you guys like the Monty Python lupin sketch. Here's some small native lupins. They aren't the bush lupins, they're the small ones. So very nice color. There are bush lupins here too, but I haven't seen any yet. More lupins there. Little blue and white guys. Really nice one there. Look at that color. And find some other things. Oh, a whole bunch of lupins on the hill. Look at that. All that color. Those are all lupins except for the blue dicks right there. Lupins? What do you mean, lupins? There you go, bush lupins. So there's the flower of the bush lupin kind of fallen down. Some animal probably knocked it over the wind. And here's it's called silver bush lupin because of the kind of silvery edge, and it's hairy. Gives it a silver look. But it's got a nice purple, pinkish purple flower. And they get much more big and bushy than that. These small bits of oak that come up and stay small like this, most likely as they stump sprouted, the deer caught them when they're fresh and soft and started nibbling. So you get this browsing by deer to make these little clusters. I was talking earlier about the crumholtz, the wind browsing. A lot of the times the plants have the same end appearance, whether it's done by an animal or done by the wind. More warm sunlight. And up here is a little bend, and there's quite often some deer in this field hanging out, just nibbling or whatever. Quite often one will stand guard while the other eat, but not always. They're pretty used to people here, so they're not that jumpy. There's more of the madrone with the nice big round leaves and the peeling bark. There's a small one here called manzanita, which is Spanish for little apple, because the fruits look like little green or red apples. And it also has, it's similar to madrone. It has smaller, harder leaves, but it also has the peeling bark phenomenon, which again is probably a remnant from the old days of epiphytes. In the early days of the plant's evolution, shed those epiphytes. So nice fields up here. This one is a nice big hill, and then it goes to a fairly abrupt end at the top and then drops straight down to Edgewood Road. This is Edgewood Park. So, and then again, straight ahead is Highway 280. So, major thoroughfare through here. It's only about, I think it was built in the 70s, late 60s, early 70s, something like that. So it's a fairly young highway. Before then, 101 was it. And 101 does meet up at El Camino. at some point. 101 is basically, oh, got 50 going by. The original King's Highway, El Camino Real, for all the tying all the missions together when the Spanish ran California. That's the original El Camino Real. Now, it used to go all the way up and down California. Well, that became Highway 101, and El Camino Real itself split off into a more of a city thoroughfare with, you know, population and buildings and stuff. But they're originally one and the same. El Camino Real 101 were tied together. And 280 is pretty new in the grand scheme of things. So again, it's all weedy stuff out here. This is not serpentine grassland. This is more of your typical run-of-the-mill fields you'd find in California. As a long time ago, it would have been all native plants, obviously, but as settlers came out here and stuff, if you look at old paintings back when Agassiz and some other famous explorers were out here, botanists and stuff, painting the landscapes as botanical study, you can actually see in museums and in books and stuff what this place used to look like. And it didn't have this whole concept of gold fields of California. They were mostly perennial grasses, so they were pretty much green or gray-green all the time. They didn't have these dying grasses, annual grasses constantly dying, making an entire area look golden. So that's a modern phenomenon. That is not what California used to look like. It used to have a lot more flowers and color and stuff instead of all these weeds everywhere. It's California poppy again. So that's the like everything else. And in the fire road going back to the entrance we came into, lots of coyote brush. See, it gets quite tall. It's all coyote brush here, or coyote bush. And then these coast live oaks can get big and huge, and some stay small like this. This is probably a fairly young one. And then you have, there's some water around here. So this is an arroyo willow. There's some seepage or something around here, and that's willows like water. So if you're gonna find a willow, it's not gonna be dry. And look at all this poison oak, gobs and gobs of it. So it also loves water, it's thriving here. So there's some little seepage or creek area going through here probably. That's why you see the willows. Generally, if you see like alders, willows, things like that, riparian plants or edges of marshes or freshwater marshes or ponds, you know the water's there before you can see the water, because the type of trees that grow there. Some more birdies. Oh, I just saw it, but I couldn't catch it on camera. I see you. It's flying. Keep seeing me and flying away. Very skittish. And I have a nice little forest here of trees. And you get other things growing here, like, what else we got here? There's poison oak going through that tree there. Pretty awful. Theoretically, on a hot, windy day, you can be walking through here, and if it's hot enough, the oils of the poison oak can vaporize and deposit on your face and such as you walk by a slight breeze. That's how nasty it is, because I know I've gotten it before and never touched the stuff. There's more up there. So that is a problem. Now it's growing down like vines. Look at that. Poison oak. You gotta watch out, don't touch that. Yikes. And now the sun is going down. Lots of color. And I got another battery warning, so it's probably gonna die any minute. And since we're near the end of the hike, I'm not gonna bother plugging in the battery extender. But if there's just enough time, you'll see this open field up here, which is really scenic. Quite often see deer up here as well as certain kinds of lizards, western meadowlarks. These little birds have a classic American prairie sound, plains sound. Okay, no deer yet. There's always hope. You see deer all the time, but they tend to be what you call crepuscular, dawn and dusk, and throughout the day they'll take a nap or whatever, or go hide somewhere in the shade. And at nighttime they'll bed down, and you can find their spots with the compressed grass where they'll bed down. And of course, who's out looking for them at night? Oh, beautiful little junco flying by. Dark-eyed junco. Mountain lions out looking for them at night. So I'm sure they're very light sleepers, because they're easy targets when they're sleeping. Okay, we'll get some more flowers out here. This one's called mule ears. It looks like a sunflower of some kind. That's what you call a composite flower. So you got two types of flowers in the head, just like a sunflower. The old family name Compositae became Asteraceae, also the sunflower family. And have ray flowers and disc flowers. Disc flowers become the sunflower seeds that you eat, and the ray flowers are the strap flowers on the sides for decoration, and like nectar guides for insects and such. More white yarrow here, poking up. There's so much crap here now, but there are some test fields here. There were cutaways where they're doing some experiments out here, roped off, but they're so overgrown now, you can't even see them from the trail. There's some flags out here that kind of mark some of the experiments. But as you can see, it's so overgrown from the trail, you can't. There's this one marker here with a QR code with a website. You can actually, I'll put this on camera, you guys can do the QR code if you want to read about it. Interesting stuff. Oops. There's your little QR code. It's kind of faded in the sunlight. But as the experiment that was done here with these markers and such. They even have some bat boxes out here. Help out some of the local bat population that are always endangered from loss of habitat and all kinds of other stuff going on. Development and noise and all that stuff. The bats are pretty sensitive animals. So they put a few bat boxes out here, you can see, that actually encourage them to have a nice little house. Give nature a little bit of a boost. Because why not? We've become stewards of this place whether we like it or not, even though we're just part of the animal population, but that's certainly not how we treat it. Okay, so we're getting close. There's another open field coming up here with rock outcrops and stuff. This is where you find the meadowlarks and lizards. There's a beautiful lizard called a skink out here. It's a smooth lizard, very, very snake-like. And they can all have all kinds of different colors. One's called a Gilbert skink. This is kind of a reddish head, red underside. Beautiful. I found it once here, walking around. But I haven't seen it for a long time. Used to see meadowlarks all the time out here. But again, it's been a while. But you got to be at right place, right time. And if the wind is blowing, sometimes you won't hear them. Because their song is pretty strong, but the wind, as the sound is rarefaction of air, as the wind blows, there goes the sound. So let's see what we got here. Funny, a lot of fencing out here makes it look like a ranch, but it's just a public park that's protected. And you can hear Pacific tree frogs down there because there's a water feature to the right. A little creek going through here. So that's probably where those willows way back there were receiving the moisture. So I'm hearing some tree frogs down there. There you go, probably hear it. They'll kick in more as it gets darker, but there's some deer. Look at that. One lonely deer. Of course, I can't zoom in this mode, but you can see the brown body against the greenish background there, right in the middle of the frame. California mule deer. Orocoilus hemionus columbianus. So it's a subspecies of the Colombian black-tailed deer. Also called mule deer because these giant ears they have, like a mule. So yeah, mule deer. Not a staple in California. We also have, oh, there's another one. It's behind the bushes there. Now you can see it. Walking and grazing. So they have good population. Favorite food of the mountain lion, supposedly. So, you know, you'll find them. Mountain lions will be around. I've never seen them out here, but I'm sure they enter at some point. Mostly in the hills beyond over there. More where I was walking earlier today, up on those hills. And down into the valleys where the redwood forest was. And then you can see the trail here. I was pointing out earlier, there's a rim trail, a person walking up there on the rim of that hillside. So you have a couple different ways you can get here. And now the mule deer is checking out. He stopped to eat and look around. Yes, we're no harm. You can go back to eating. You hear the frogs again. And the sun is now in the fog. Look at that fog down there. Just blanketing the hell out of those hills. It's beautiful. But driving 280 this time of night is awesome because it's just like whipped cream and fluff pouring down the hill. And if you do a time-lapse video, it's stunning. So really cool. I bet that's going all the way to San Francisco right now. You can see off to the right side. It's totally covered up. So now you can really hear the frogs. And more deer. Look at that. There's two down here by the bushes down there. And there's that bouncing ball wren tit. And you can probably barely hear it. This buzzy. This is wee, wee. I don't think the microphone is strong enough for this, but there's a thing called used to be called a rufous-sided towhee. Now it's called a spotted towhee. Makes this amazing kind of noise. It's very cute. They actually have red eyes. If you look them up, most common towhee is the California towhee. It's a giant ground sparrow, but the rufous-sided towhee now called spotted towhee. It's beautiful. Very shy. Almost always hear them and never see them. And that's that noise that they make. And you also have the wren tits with the bouncing ball. More poison oak bushes. I'm going to do a quick shot up here in this little valley, this little meadow here. And I'll have to cut it because I have a feeling if the battery dies, I might lose a stream like I did earlier in the other park. The first stream got killed because at some point it crashed. And it's not even available as a stream to upload or fix. So good old YouTube has got some bugs. But at least the second stream went up there from Huddart Park. You guys can look for that. So here's a nice little cluster of flowers, and I'll cut it off here because the deer are way back there. One more cluster of flowers. So tidy tips, so the big ones with the white tips on them. Got some mallow, the nice little pink flowers there. Got some mixed in. There's a nice cluster there. I got California poppies. Looks like a little bit of larkspur, tidy tips, goldfields, all kinds of stuff in there. So that's what that area we came in at. We saw the forked thing when I started the first stream here. That's what this whole area would have looked like about a month ago. This is like the last remaining cluster of it. So just imagine this all over the damn park. That's what it looks like on a good year. And now this is what we've got, this little patch left this late in the season. And with that, thank everybody. And feel free to comment. And if you're watching and chatting, I'll get back and read the comments later. Thanks again. And always fun to share this stuff with you guys. Have a good evening. And I'll catch you later. Go out and have a nature walk. It's good for you.